is important in conceptual art to domestic and civic maintenance. Like maintenance is maintaining the street clean, maintaining the toilet clean, maintaining the fountain clean, right? So maintenance art, and she's a feminist. And she decided to do this kind of art when she first had a baby, right? She was a homemaker, right? And then she had a baby, maybe one or two, and she thought, this is work. Like, you have a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, you can relate to that. For 6 years, you couldn't do your work. Like,
exactly.
Being a mother is a burden. It's a labor. You have to change the diaper.
They don't realize
they don't realize.
I am doing my job.
Yes, and then people don't realize.
Finally, they ask, "What are you doing all this day?"
Right.
I was just like, "What I'm doing all this day?"
It's labor. It's labor.
Yeah, just like I don't understand what they want me to do.
Exactly. So that was her like awakening when she became a mother and realized that raising child is a labor, you know, a legitimate labor and a work. So she did a project called Touch Sanitation from 1977 to I think in 1980 for 3 years. And it was one of her most, I would say, ambitious and kind of a milestone in the history of performing arts. And she didn't do it as performing art. I'm a performer. Basically what she did was she went to the sanitation office, like a municipality.
This is the garbage office.
It's a garbage office.
Sanitation is the nice word for it.
Yes, yeah, it's a garbage office. She met over 8,500, 8,500, not 850, 8,500 people, employees of the New York Sanitation Department, which is people who collect garbage. And then she said, thank you, and shook hands. Thank you for keeping our city clean. That's what she did. Yeah. And each and every one of them, thank you for keeping New York City alive. That's the word she used.
Wow.
So she documented her activities on a map and meticulously recording her conversation with all the workers. Because the workers were surprised. Why is this white lady with a blonde hair, you know, coming and saying thank you? You know, so she had a conversation with them. And she basically documented their private stories, and then what she decided to do was to change the negative idea about these garbage men. People call them, oh, he's a garbage man, you know, and you don't see them because in New York they come with a big garbage car, and when they collect the garbage in the middle of the night, because they come and it's big noise, and then they take out the garbage, throw in their garbage, they move away. They don't do this in the middle of the day. So they're kind of invisible. I see them late at night when I come back from Stony Brook, sometimes 10 or 11 o'clock. They are collecting. And whenever I see them, I always say, thank you. You know? Just like I say, thank you. I just say, look at me, you know? And I don't shake hands because they're doing their job. I just say, thanks, you know? Because that's just around the corner, the big garbage.
It's a great job.
Right. So you should know about this. And I have a name here. So you should Google, because she has done so many other projects, you know, elsewhere.
Oh.
And one time, yes. And another similar project she did, this is the same thing, and I happen to know her. I met her, and I said, thank you for doing this, you know, and in the 70s, right? And she's actually very, very approachable, you know, and because I also witnessed one of the projects she did. That's in Japan. But another project she did, which she's known for, is those garbage trucks. Again, we call it garbage truck. Usually it's very dirty, and it's dark, and it's like a big, beaten up truck, and it's dirty because garbage gets hit, and you know, people may spit at it or whatever. But she did a project called Social Mirror, and the garbage truck, that usually like dark and dirty, she polished like stainless steel, like this silver, you know, stainless steel. So when the garbage car goes by, and she worked with the sanitation department and made the sanitation truck go by very slowly during the daytime. So people who are waiting to cross the street, it's a very busy place, they get to see themselves reflected on the mirror, which is the garbage truck. So she wanted to make people aware that this is a mirror, they are the people who are correcting your garbage, right? That's one thing called social mirror. Another thing she did, I think she did this also in Paris, is she had a procession of all the garbage trucks. So she had about 30 garbage trucks, or maybe more, that goes around the city at night. She did it almost like a, what do you call it,
Motorcade?
Motorcade. So she had all the garbage truck lined up, like almost like a procession, like a ceremony. And then all the garbage truck goes like this in the street, like moving slowly. And intentionally? Yes, intentionally, like like a performance. And lift the car, almost like a limo, And
how long that was like in the city?
Maybe for an hour or two, and then people are like going, what the heck is going on with this garbage truck? Going around like a snake, moving around, right?
Awesome,
that's one thing, right?
It's like Chinese New Year for garbage trucks.
Yeah, right? So that's, you later when you hear this. Another thing I witnessed was, I was in a very, this was an art triennial, which took place up north. And up north, there's 3 meters of snow. So a lot of people, to this day, a lot of the fathers and farmers who live there, they have no job during the winter months. So they go and work in another prefecture, another city, as a construction worker, and then summertime they're farmers, right? But the houses are like 10 feet, 3 meters covered in snow. So they have to plow the snow. There's a snow plow truck. Probably understand, right? So it's a big, like a, big truck, and then the snow goes like,
Pushes the snow.
Yeah, pushes the snow. Like, in construction site, they will be collecting the gravel or cement, right? But in winter, they come and they take the snow, like, so they're snow plow trucks. And nobody pays attention to something like that. And the working people are working hard early in the morning instead of late night, because they have to get out of their house in order to fight the snow, So they come early in the morning. So when I went, I was invited to this festival, and she was one of the participants. She also decided to make this invisible big truck workers visible. So she decided to choreograph, right, a theater. And it was Romeo and Juliet, right? No actors, no scene. So this was right by the river. There was a big field, like a big baseball field, open field. Like you have those, there's a river and there's open space where people can play soccer. And so what she did was she contacted all the drivers who are snow plow truck drivers, right? And she told them the story of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. They had no idea what the story was about. So she choreographed into maybe like a half an hour, 40 minutes performance of these trucks. So there's a Montagues and the Caplets. Maybe, do you know Romeo and Juliet story, right? It's the love story of Romeo and Juliet, right? So this was choreographed by her, and she told the story of the Romeo and Juliet to the truck drivers. And what they do is they decided to do a balcony scene, for instance. So the truck is up on the bridge, and there's Juliet, and another big truck is under the field, and the truck is moving and going like Juliet, and then moving the head of the truck, and it's just these drivers driving. Nobody's acting or talking. It's basically, imagine taxi drivers doing some kind of a dance in the field. But in this case, because the hoe, this thing moves, they're doing the scene, and then when it becomes a fight scene, the truck is going like that. So it's like a 40 minutes or so performance. So they made these truck drivers proud, so that they became like these performers. Anyway, so that's a little side story. But you should know this person, and I'll pass this around.